So what happened at the beginning of Oedipus?
So Oedipus the king rescued the town of Thebes from the stink. And there's a plague placed on their town because the murderer of their king, Laius, was still on their land. So the woman couldn't bear children and no crops were growing.
Oh no.
And Oedipus promised to find the killer of...
Line 235 says, as one that is a stranger to the story, Oedipus. This is an example of a traumatic irony. Traumatic irony occurs when the audience or readers know more about the situation than a character does. Oedipus calls himself a stranger to the story when the reader knows he is truly at the center of the murder of the king.
So then, in the play, the chorus starts singing, and pretty much the chorus is singing to Zeus because they want him to protect the people and to protect everybody from the plague because he's a god. I mean, he can do anything, right?
And the chorus is also talking about how there are so many dead bodies within their city.
Just piling up. So in episode 1, Oedipus demands all the people in the whole entire city to come around and give him information about who's the killer of Laius.
An example of hubris emerges during the time of the story in line 289 through 292. Oedipus says, those who do not obey me, may the gods grant no crop springing from the ground they plow, nor children to their women. Hubris is when a character shows excessive pride in themselves. Oedipus is saying everybody must obey him, otherwise he hopes the gods treat them poorly. This shows he is very full of himself.
The chorus then suggests that Oedipus to go meet Oedipus, an old blind prophet. A little boy brings Oedipus there, and then Oedipus, the prophet, says that she's not going to tell Oedipus anything because it's something that could actually ruin his life. And then she tells him anyways because Oedipus keeps pressing him. And Teresa says that Oedipus's prophecy is true.
Line 415 and 416 says, I say you are the murderer of the king whose murder you seek. Tiresias the Brohe says this. This is a situational irony because the opposite of what's expected to happen, Oedipus went to Tiresias in hopes of finding the murderer of king, when he is called the murderer instead.
Tiresias also says that the murderer of Laius was not originally in the city, but is now there. And she also says that the prophecy claims that Oedipus will marry his mother and kill his father, and also become blind.
The chorus says that they are very confused.
And the chorus also says that they still want to side with Oedipus because he saved the city from the Sphinx.
But they also believe that the prophecy could be true.
What will they do? What happens in episode 2?
So, Creon thinks that Oedipus had accused him of telling the prophet to lie just so that Creon can get the throne.
That's petty.
That is petty. So, Jocasta, Oedipus's wife, tells Creon to leave, and she also says that prophecies aren't always true because Jocasta also got prophecy that her son would murder his father, Laius, and marry his mother. But Laius left their kid in the woods so that the prophecy could not come true. But Oedipus recognizes the description of these crossroads and realizes that he never actually grew up with his true parents. So Oedipus tells Jocasta that they have the same prophecy.
That's crazy.
Line 926 through 930 says, I would measure from the stars the whereabouts of Corinth. Yes, I fled to somewhere where I should not see fulfilled the infamies told and at the dreadful oracles, says Oedipus. This is an example of hamartia. Hamartia is when the character misses the mark, also known as their tragic flaw. Oedipus believes he can escape his prophecy of killing the father and marrying his mother. He tries to flee from his hometown so he would not carry out his prophecy. But Oedipus missed the mark because it could not escape the prophecy.
Oedipus killed a man at the crossroads where Laius was killed, and a slave was there to witness it, so Oedipus demanded the slave come to Thebes.
After that episode, the chorus sings about the power of prophecies.
And they say that the prophecies are not true and their religion is dying.
And they also say that gods have the most power.
Happens in episode 3.
In episode 3, Jocasta comes to the altar of Apollo and places a bunch of offerings there in hopes that Oedipus doesn't keep reaching out to try to find the proof of his prophecy. After that, a messenger then comes to tell her the Polybus, who was supposedly Oedipus's father, has died of natural causes. This gives Jocasta hope that the prophecy is not true, because Polybus was not killed by his son, which is Oedipus, and Oedipus's mother is still alive, meaning the prophecy is still wrong. The messenger says that there's good news, and there's no reason for Oedipus to fear of going back to Corinth, which is his actual hometown. Oedipus is really not the real son of Merope and Polybus. He was a gift from a shepherd who found him on a rock, who brought him to Corinth. And Jocasta realizes the prophecy is actually true, and tells Oedipus that he needs to absolutely stop looking for answers.
Oedipus thinks that Jocasta is ashamed of him, and he's going to try his hardest to find his true birth parents, because he still doesn't believe that Laius is his actual father.
The chorus also finds out that Oedipus was found in the land where Jocasta says she and Laius told the shepherd to place their baby.
What happens in episode 4? So the herdsman is called in and tells Oedipus that he is a former slave of Laius. When the messenger reminds him of the baby he found, he claims not to remember Oedipus. But Oedipus threatens him to talk. So the slave says that he is in fact Jocasta and Laius' son.
Oh my god.
The slave says that he was supposed to kill the baby so that the prophecy would not come true, but he didn't.
Well, I couldn't kill a baby.
I hope not.
Line 1353 says, they said that he should kill his parents. The herdsman said this. Ignoramus is the point in the play where Oedipus discovers the nature of his circumstances. Oedipus realizes that he has fulfilled his prophecy. Jocasta urges Oedipus not to meet with the herdsman, because she knows he fulfilled his prophecy, and so does Oedipus. The herdsman confirmed that it was prophesied over him from the day he was born that Oedipus would kill his father.
Jocasta and Laius knew about the prophecy even when Oedipus was born.
After episode 4, the chorus sings how fate is unavoidable and mortals are doomed.
It wishes it had never seen Oedipus, even though he saved the city of Thebes, because he now has brought darkness when he had brought light.
Oh, episode 5 is a little crazy. A second messenger comes to tell the people that Jocasta hung herself, and Oedipus was the one who found her dead. And after Oedipus found her dead, he used pins from Jocasta and gouged out his eyes.
Oh.
Line 1455 through 1459 says, he tore the brooches, the gold-chased brooches fastening her robe, away from her and lifting them up high dashed them on his own eyeballs, striking out such things. This is an example of catharsis. Catharsis is when the character releases strong repressed emotions. Oedipus released his strong emotions by tearing out his eyes.
Oedipus then confesses to being Laius' killer, and he confesses to marrying his actual mother, Jocasta. Oedipus' daughters are now taken care of by Creon, his brother-in-law. Creon is forced to be king now, and Creon tells Oedipus that he must trust the king.
Finally, the citizens of Thebes learn that their king has fallen.
They also discover that all life is filled with pain.
Sadly, human suffering is a part of life's destiny.
Remember, Oedipus tells you the truth will always come out.